Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Clear Holiday Podcast. I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys. It's been on my mind for a little bit. If you're a woman that uses YouTube or probably any social media, and you're especially interested in more classically feminine stuff like makeup or beauty or lifestyle, whether you want to or not, you're going to be inundated with certain trends, right? I hope I said that correctly. The algorithm's going to figure out you're a lady and start hitting you with some trends. And one of the things that I have been relentlessly hit with over the last few years, which I finally come to a breaking point with. I've seen it one too many times and it doesn't make any sense to me. And that is the idea of feminine versus masculine energy. And all these videos still coming out about how to be in your feminine energy, how to thrive in your feminine energy, all the things you need to do to be in and embody your feminine energy. I remember seeing this trend really take off in 2020 because of the lockdowns that we were all forced to be under. There was an resurgence of feminine energy videos. And then I feel like it chilled for a little bit and now it's come back with a vengeance because of the rise of trad wife content. So let me break all these terms down in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. The idea of feminine energy and embodying your feminine energy, a lot of it comes from an aesthetic, and it's like the cottage core aesthetic. Even the trad wife has an aesthetic. It's kind of like the homesteading, wearing flowy, almost girlish dresses with big bows, and you're out on a farm at sunset and you're just wandering through wildflowers and having picnics and baking bread. Maybe you have a few kids running around that help you with gardening. And a lot of that aesthetic, it was called cottagecore back in the day. And that really took off, I would say 2019, 2020. And then feminine energy, you might also hear it talked about as princess treatment. And it's the idea that there are these two types of energies within us, the masculine and the feminine. If you are a woman, if you're an embodied woman, then you are doing yourself a disservice by being too much in your masculine. But in the modern age, the modern world, women are basically forced to be in their masculines all the time. But their life would actually be easier and better, and they would have the princess treatment they're seeking, the man that provides for them, the homesteading life, a life of just wearing beautiful dresses and baking and having a few well-behaved kids, teetering around if they could just embody their feminine energy more. So what is the difference between masculine and feminine energy? What do these terms mean? Well, the masculine energy, of course, is the one that is more authoritative. It's more controlling, ambitious, obsessed with hard work and taking lots of action. So the feminine, being the counterpoint to that, is supposed to be all about receiving, relaxing, letting go of control, letting go of making plans, going with the flow of life. Now, they sometimes also say it's about like being present and being in your body. But I think categorizing just everyday, very human emotions or human decisions that we have to take as either masculine or feminine does no one any favors. I think it's a way typically to guilt women into not being as ambitious and not be as forthright with their goals and what they want. Because speaking up too much is masculine energy. Demanding what you want is masculine energy. There's kind of an odd mix of both traditional religious thought, but also new age woo-woo thought that can kind of mix together. And you can skew one way or the other online depending on what you're looking for. If it's the more trad wife traditional thing, they'll talk about how a biblical wife should be seen and not heard, defer to their husbands, not speak up and be comfortable being at home and taking care of children and taking care of their husbands, right? Where on the more woo woo new age thing, they'll talk about how sometimes we should balance the masculine and feminine energies within us, but that the universe, especially if you're an embodied woman, wants to provide you with abundance, wants to provide you with wealth and with love and with all of your heart's desires. But if you're work too hard and work too much and are in too much in your masculine, you'll chase it away. You have to be womanly and passive and relaxed in order to receive such gifts from the universe. And kind of a similar thing if you're in the trad wife tradition where you have to relax and not nag your husband if you want certain chores to be done, but come at it from a side angle, kind of sidestep because you don't want, I don't know, your husband to be mad at you and cheat on you and leave you if you're too demanding that you need certain chores to be done, right? And I think as a woman, well, first off, the aesthetic is extremely appealing. It tends to be very girly, very feminine, and then using things like being in your feminine energy. Of course, that's going to hit a pain point for some of us because it's like, well, I don't want to be seen as masculine. I want guys or even just other people in general to think that I'm feminine, to think that I'm girly, if that matters to you. And if you tend to be into fashion and makeup, then that sort of thing can matter to you. You have to be in a receiving energy in order for a man to just want to give you princess treatment. He doesn't want to give princess treatment where he's spending money and time and showering you with gifts and luxuries. If you're demanding, if you're bitchy, if you're bossy, well, I mean, obviously, if you're bitchy, people don't generally want to do that to bitchy people. This terminology that's thrown around online can prey a lot on single women and make them feel like the reason that they're single is because they are not in their feminine enough, that they are doing something wrong. So the reason this bothers me so tremendously, well, one, whenever you see like what being in your feminine means, the word that is 100% of the time associated with feminine energy is also creativity and the creation. Why? Because the feminine, if we are going to break down into the most general terms possible about what might make something masculine versus feminine, which already a lot of people could say is a farce because, again, there are plenty of overlap, but feminine is often associated with creativity because women create life in their bodies, right? They can get pregnant and they can literally create a human being, not entirely alone. They need a little help to get that going, but they are the ones that are creating the life and birthing the life. So they're often associated with creativity. And as a highly creative, ambitious woman myself, I just think about how much work it takes to be creative and then how much work it takes to be even remotely competent at whatever creative activity you're doing, whether it's for work or for your own leisure. Even if you're just crocheting, it's like, okay, well, you probably want to get somewhat proficient at crocheting if it's a hobby you're even remotely passionate about. And the idea that creating something doesn't require planning, doesn't require effort, doesn't require a level of intense work is crazy. And I think it just does such a disservice to so many women. And I feel so compelled and so rattled by this because I read the comments in these videos. I can rarely get through a few minutes before I just pause, can't listen to it anymore, go to the comments, and I will see all these women in the comments talking about basically how stressed they are, but they don't feel like they're in their feminine enough. And the reason that they can't get the man, they can't have as much money as they want. They don't have the house of their dreams, the life of their dreams, the children of their dreams. Any of that is because they're not feminine enough. They're too controlling. They plan too much. They work too hard. And it is so sinister that there is this push, probably not intentionally, but let's not throw out all possibilities here, but that there is this push to try to get women to basically stop being ambitious and stop working hard. The idea that you believe that you are deserving of a luxurious lifestyle and presuming that you are not born into said lifestyle, that you don't have a trust fund waiting for you, that the reason money isn't just flowing into your lap is because you're not in your receiving energy, is because you're not relaxed enough, is because you're putting in too much effort is laughable. It's so crazy and counterintuitive to how life actually works. It's kind of incredible that it has any traction, but again, it comes with this beautiful, soft, glamorous aesthetic, often with women with really soft voices who do have husbands that help provide for them, that are just stunningly gorgeous. Also, as if being attractive, especially camera ready attractive, doesn't require a ton of work and a ton of effort. Unless you have stylists that can do all the hair, makeup, lighting, outfits for you, which virtually no one does, you have to learn all that yourself. That requires planning and that takes effort. It's almost as if there's this force within the algorithm that's trying to kill women's ambition. You try, but it goes along with, like I said, the trad wife thing. I think it also coincides with the rise of manifestation. And listen, I think all of these things have gained a ton of traction because there is just so much economic insecurity. I think that's where all these things stem from. People tend to become more conservative, more religious, or seek some sort of spiritual outside guidance when the outside world is unstable. And it absolutely is right now. Like finding a job, even in a white collar job, is damn near impossible. The government's acting crazy. Student loan debt is disgusting. All these things that we were told growing up would be not just achievable, but relatively easily achievable. Go to college, get a degree, get a good job, find a partner, buy a house, start having a family, all before the age of 35, people are finding more and more difficult to do. And it all stems from money being scarce. Like people aren't getting married because money is scarce. People aren't having children or they're being very cautious about having children because money is scarce. People aren't able to find jobs. People who got the degrees, they got the bachelor, they got the masters, they got their PhDs. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt for these degrees that they basically all thought would guarantee them a job in a certain field. I mean, it's clear the rise of AI is causing a lot of issues in the white collar field, but it's not just that. It's large conglomerates tightening their belts. It's the government laying off hundreds of thousands of employees. And whether that is necessary or not does not negate the fact that it is becoming harder and harder to find a job, let alone have one stream of income sustain yourself, let alone an entire household. So I can't blame women for seeing the idea of this soft, feminine life and being like, wow, I want that. I want to not think about bills. I want to not think about, how I'm going to have food or support myself. I just want to wear dresses and sunbathe in my garden and maybe have one really well-behaved child that will help me bake bread from scratch in the kitchen, and my beautiful husband who is going to provide me with all the money I could ever need and the house over our head and the emotional security that I'm craving, will give it to me willingly and freely and spoil me with gifts and affection because I'm just so soft and so feminine and I don't have to ask for it. I don't have to beg for it. I don't have to budget for it. Content creators that are talking about it are basically saying, you could have this life too. The only thing standing in the way of you and this life of quiet, soft, easy luxury is yourself. And all you have to do is shut off the part of your brain that wants to be ambitious and controlling and asks for things or demands things and wants to build things. Shut all that down. Let all that go. Just chill and relax and take lots of bubble baths and everything will fall in your lap. Well, of course, I think we all reasonably know that that's just not how the world works. In fact, this is what really bothered me when I was thinking about it earlier today. The world owes you nothing. Just because you are alive does not mean that the universe owes you anything. You are not guaranteed your health, and you are certainly not guaranteed wealth or abundance or any sort of luxury. You're not even guaranteed safety. And there's a lot of people in this world that go without one or all of those things. It is not guaranteed to us. And if you live in a first world country, it can often feel like it is. Economic security should be guaranteed to us, that emotional stability should be guaranteed to us, that it's not something that we have to work and fight and claw our way to. This is not me advocating for workaholics to the point where you neglect your sleep or you neglect your health or that you shouldn't be present, especially if there are moments of joy and peace. But like, my God, I know for me, my life has changed dramatically when I realized that if you want something, you have to work for it and you have to do it relentlessly and you have to do so much more than what you're comfortable with. Because also, let's be real, if you're a first world, the biggest issue for most people isn't that they're working too hard, it's that they're scrolling too much. It's that they're chronically online. It's that they're addicted to their screens and their entertainment. That's more likely an issue than that you're working too hard. But if you're actually working and sitting down and planning and being like taking your life seriously and being ambitious about it and whatever that means to you. It doesn't have to be a financial thing. I think even if you're a woman and you're trying to find love, and that like real type of princess-esque love, although that's kind of a misnomer too, because romance is important in a relationship, but a relationship is work, especially a serious one. If you're talking about marriage, if you're talking about being with one person for an extended period of time, like multiple decades, that's a ton of work. You are combining your ambitions and your goals and your time. There's going to be constant compromises and negotiations on both ends. You should, especially if you're a woman, the solution is not giving up all of your autonomy to your husband and being like, well, that will just solve all my problems. No, it won't. And if he's a good guy, he doesn't want that either. He wants you to be happy. Like, you should not be sitting around just waiting to fulfill his every demand. If he's like a solid dude, he'll be bored with that in like 2 days. But if you're a woman seeking this sort of relationship, there's still work to be had. There's still plans you can make. You should plan to probably hop on the dating apps, as not fun as they can be. There's still a way to meet eligible guys. I would still say to join clubs or sporting leagues, or if you have a particular hobby like a book club or you're into D&D, join groups that meet together in person. The likelihood of meeting a single hot dude of your dreams may be low, but you will most likely expand your friend group. And you gain more friends. Yay, that's awesome. In general, friendships are important. Let's not hang everything on romantic relationships. That's unfair to your potential partner. But the more people you know in real life, the more opportunities, from their network and their friends or family, they might know single people. So between that and the dating apps, if you're out and about in the world and trying to go on some dates in your own time, if you're doing this solidly for a year, you're seriously increasing the chances of meeting somebody. But that takes work. That takes work. That takes planning. It is a numbers game. These also tend to be the same groups and creators that push being a stay-at-home mom or homeschooling and just having a family or a large family in general, the trad wife situation. And it's like, what in the world is possibly more work than being a parent, right? Let alone homeschooling for your kids. Oh my God. Yeah, being a parent is a relentless amount of work. It's like the most amount of work you could probably do in your entire life. And what are you going to do in regards to your children? Not plan their days, not plan their curricula, not plan or put an effort or work towards how to make these kids fully functioning adults. Do you see how separating these energies into masculine and feminine is just ridiculous? Because we utilize these different things all the time. There is a point where we need to be ambitious and demanding, not just with others, but with ourselves. It's kind of like telling women, like, oh, the reason you didn't get the raise is because you demanded it. You should have just sit back and let the raise come to you. Again, that's actually a big thing in the manifestation world. They're like, you shouldn't have to lift a finger. If you want it badly enough, if you ask the universe for it, if you align yourself enough with these principles, if you think about having the money enough, it will fall into your lap without you having to do anything. And I don't know about you guys. I don't want to take chances on my life like that. I don't want to hope that the universe provides for me. I don't want to hope that the right man will show up who will provide for all my financial and emotional needs. I don't want to hope that beautiful things will just fall into my lap. I'm not against some woo woo thoughts. I certainly think there can be moments of kismet. I think there can be a lot of beauty in being spontaneous and going with the flow and not holding on too tightly with, I don't know, like your life or your schedule and kind of allowing for those strange synchronicities. I'm not against all of that. In fact, I would say I lean more in that direction than not, which is why I have to force myself to be more strict and ambitious. And you know what's happened when I've done that? My channel has nearly doubled in subscribers in like a week. I got offered a sponsorship. Like there were some big things happening with my business and with this channel. And it has happened because I just put way more work and way more effort and way more planning and way more ambition into it. So, to my beautiful feminine ladies out there, do not let these content creators trick you into thinking that being purposeful with your life means you're not being feminine enough and therefore nothing good will happen to you. That is ludicrous. Put in the work, plan out your days, plan out your weeks. Take all the action you can. Put things out there. I have accomplished more just sitting down and putting in the mind numbing work than meditating ever has done for me. If you need to do a little bit of that to unwind or to orient yourself, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. There is definitely probably room in your life for that. But these content creators also more than anything are grifting, right? Because they know how hard it is to quote unquote release all control in your life because that's insane. That you need to hire them as a coach and you need to buy their courses so you can learn how to be in your feminine. That is honestly what it comes down to more than anything else is these creators have figured out how to grift you. Don't let them do that. Keep your head down, focus on the work. And yeah, take some time to relax once in a while, but don't think that relaxing constantly will ever lead you to the life that you want. That is dangerous ideology. So that's my rant. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week, and I will be posting more episodes too. Bye, guys.